So, folks, it's time for us to return to, for whatever reason, a segment that has been inexplicably popular on my YouTube channel. And, sometimes we need to return to those wells just for analytical purposes. I present to you the latest in the Brett Cooper saga, or perhaps you might better know her as Brett Pooper. And let's jump into it because I am just genuinely curious if it actually is true that the GOP and many who support them, down to their propagandists like Brett Cooper, or rather Brett Pooper, are in fact financially illiterate. Let's check out what's going on with Fem Shapiro. Let's go.
So apparently, having a basic sense of financial literacy will make you a right-wing bigot, and that is one of the many things that I have learned from Caleb Hammer's financial audit.
Okay, so right off the bat, I don't know who Caleb Hammer is. Great name. Second point, I have never heard that being financially illiterate makes you a conservative. Actually, I have not heard that at all. So let's see. Can Brett Cooper actually demonstrate that being financially literate makes one conservative? Let's find out, shall we? I never noticed it before, but there is a shocking amount of visual metaphor involved in uncrumpling the Brett Cooper show and then crumpling it back up. Because, I don't know about you guys, but generally when I crumple up a piece of paper, I'm throwing that straight in the trash. But, maybe that's just an unintended message from the opening of her show.
So Financial Audit is a show that has blown up on YouTube over the past couple of years. And as its host, Caleb Hammer will comb through...
Oh, can we, first of all, wait. Caleb Hammer. Let's just... I Googled this, right? Number one result is this. Attention, future money master. Do you know where your financial health is at? Take the quiz and get your Hammer financial score, a no BS reality check you need. And then you scroll down and it's like this guy. Welcome to Financial Audit, the show where you get your finances get roasted and rescued. Every week, Caleb sits down with someone whose finances are, let's say, a work in progress. You'll laugh, you'll cringe, you might even see yourself in their numbers. And you'll meet with real actionable steps to fix your own money mess. This isn't boring spreadsheet talk. This is raw, real, and sometimes ridiculous, but it works. Are you a financial dumpster fire? Get it in the hot seat. Wait, I'm sorry. Get it in the hot seat? Get what? Is that when you say get it in the hot seat, it just sounds like you're putting out in a way that I don't think is intended here. And fix your monies. If you're afraid to check your bank account, if you've gotten a what the fuck money story, or if you just need Caleb to slap you across the face with some no-nonsense financial tough love, we're looking for you. Come on the show, spill the tea, and walk away with a game plan that could change your life. Or at least your credit score. Yeah, alright. So, who is this guy anyway?
Brett Cooper? You mean Fem Shapiro?
Yes, Fem Shapiro. Fem Shapiro and Brett Pooper are the same as Brett Cooper. For those of you who do not understand the intense levels of lingo used here on this show. Caleb Hammer started out like a lot of people, deep in debt, maxing out credit cards on fast food delivery, and wondering why his bank account hated him. And then he got exposed to the powerful gamma rays of the Omega Star, and it turned his life around. No, that isn't how this goes. I wish it was. I would immediately watch that show. I want to know about the lore of the Omega Star, but no. Then he got obsessed with learning how money actually works and made it his mission to drag as many people as possible out of their own financial dumpster fires. Now, through financial audit, resources, and education, he's helped millions stop winging it with their money and start building something real. Cool. So good. You can also join Hammer Elite. And give him all your financial info. That sounds smart. All right, let's take a look.
People's finances, comb through their debt to try to set them up on a better path. What he really exposes, time and time again, is how corrupt and abused our subsidized systems are here in America. Now, before we dive into that and react to some of the most insane clips, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you've not already, and as a reminder, if you go to brettcooper.com,
you either die a pet booper or live long enough to become a Brett Cooper.
No! Thank you for the $5 dono, Jazz Dog.
You can buy tickets for my 2 upcoming live shows. I have one in New York City on November 5th and then another here in Nashville at Zany's on November 22nd. And I hope to see some of you guys.
God, what on earth would a Brett Cooper live show even be? Chat, if any of you are remotely positioned to go to one of these events, I encourage you to do so do some on the ground reporting, because what the hell would possess someone to go to this lady's live show? I genuinely don't understand.
There. All right, so let's just dive right into this. Here is your first taste of the man whose name is Caleb Hammer.
Income that came in was $1,600. Rent is $12?
Girl math.
That's your... This is not a joke.
I'm not treating it as a joke. I mean...
It's girl math. Math.
It's girl math. It's girl math. So, again, that is just a taste. So, a little bit.
But that's just someone who's not great at managing their finances. Girl math isn't a leftist principle.
Backstory here is that Caleb started his channel a few years ago to try to help people get their finances on track. And this came from a place of understanding and empathy, because when he was younger, I believe that Caleb is 30 years old now, 28, 30 years old. But after he had graduated college, he had racked up a ton of debt. And after binging Dave Ramsey videos and reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he was able to pull himself out of that situation, find a job that he loves. And now he wants to help others do the same. And he does this through his format where he has guests come on, comb through their finances. They do a bit of joking, some confrontation, and they try to figure out a solution. Now, Caleb is hilarious. The show is just outlandish. The people that he finds somehow, they're remarkable. And they're real. That's the thing. These are not paid actors. He's not baiting people. These are real people who apply to come on his show. They bring their finances. They are asking for this, and it is insane. And in recent months, the guests just keep getting better and better, and there has been a common theme this year. And the common theme is that these people hate America, and they are happily taking advantage of the system.
They hate America. Okay.
See, your finances are giving it up. They're giving it up hard. 'Cause they're with Caleb Hammer. And these are not the hammer. The hammer is my penis.
I do appreciate a good Dr. Horrible sing-along blog reference, Paladin Laws. Thank you for the $5 dono.
Hate America. Just watch.
Is there an actual plan here, or is it a wham wham, I hate the America?
I wouldn't say that.
I would.
What do you hate?
Wait, this isn't... whether or not someone hates America isn't financial advice. That's not that. When an accountant is going through your finances, there's not a column for does or does not hate America, actually.
Literally everything about America.
Let's get a couple specifics.
All right.
Because everything's a lot.
The healthcare industry.
Okay. Yeah. What about it?
I know that I have so many undiagnosed conditions.
Okay, so she hates America.
I love that the very first example, Jack, maybe you should randomly zoom in on your face while you're talking. No. I love that the very first actual example that Brett Cooper wants to dig into here is somebody who very reasonably says, yeah, I have some issues with the healthcare system of America. I've got a lot of issues getting diagnosed for my illnesses. And Brett Cooper's like, oh, you hate the American healthcare system? Huh.
America because of the healthcare system, because she has so many undiagnosed issues. And you might be wondering, well, why doesn't she just go to the doctor? Why doesn't she get insurance? Why does she not use, our government subsidized insurance? Well, here's the answer.
Well, wait a minute. There's a pretty good reason for someone not to make use of those systems. All right?
Curb Your Enthusiasm outro on soundboard?
It is. It genuinely is. Now, I don't know if anyone can genuinely understand this, right? But in a capitalist society, you need money to procure goods and services. And if one does not have money, one cannot, in fact, afford said goods or services. And you might think, oh, well, surely the beneficent government of the United States of America makes healthcare free for everyone, right? Why? It's free, Fivehead. Why don't you just go sign up for your healthcare provided for free by the U.S. government? Well, and there's one really good reason why you can't do that, and that is because America doesn't have free healthcare. In fact, let's just keep watching here. All right?
But Lieutenant Dan, you don't have no capital.
Oh, God. It really, it feels like that the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme plays in my head all the time watching these videos.
You applied? What have you applied to? What health insurance do you have right now?
None.
That's your fault. The Affordable Care Act is there for you at the healthcare.gov for you to enroll in things that are completely subsidized. When you take an idiotic stance of it's bad, but I've done nothing, it's like, what the f am I going to say? You're going to make me sound like I'm the most roo-roo. Yay, let's charge $1 billion constantly. But for what it's worth, remember, if you can afford it, we do have the best healthcare in the world.
Yeah, there's a really important qualifier in that statement. The if you can afford it part. You're talking to people who are coming to you because they need a financial plan because they can't afford it. Also, you know what? Just out of curiosity, I logged on to healthcare.gov. And you want to know something, folks? It redirected me to my state-level marketplace. And I went through my entire state-level marketplace. And you want to know what the cheapest healthcare plan that I could find was? Are you guys ready? Let me just throw it up on screen one more time. All right? Let's just do that real quick. All right. Browse plans. Skip to view plans. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the lowest monthly price available. All right? Lowest monthly price available in my state by going to healthcare.gov. Wowie zowie. Look at that. Wow, $323 a month and 5 cents. I wonder if maybe not everyone has an extra $323.05 laying around every month. You know, maybe that's not something that everyone has, especially if they need to go to a financial planner. How are people supposed to live? All I'm saying, that's not even to talk about the fact that, yeah, next month, starting in 2026, the monthly cost of these plans are going to go up like crazy. Eddie666 says, that's almost as much as I get donating plasma twice a week for a month. Yeah. Yeah, with an $8,500 deductible. $8,400 deductible, actually. Okay. But yeah, let's talk down to folks who are already financially insolvent to the point they're coming on your dumbass show. All right? Let's continue taking a look. Obviously, Brett is quite taken with his arguments.
And you guys, as a combined household income of 90,000, when you're married, you would have access to that.
I just can't believe that because, especially
Can't
being
believe that 'cause of
being a
feelings.
woman in the United States.
Okay,
when
well, you're talking
you
abortion.
Present with I've actually had 2 abortions.
Okay.
I mean, guys, the situation.
Wait, why is that funny? Wait a minute.
It's bad, but I've done nothing. It's like, what the f am I going to say? You're going to make me sound like I'm the most roo-roo. Yay, let's charge $1 billion constantly. But for what it's worth, remember, if you can afford it, we do have the...
Well, first of all, just throwing out there, the healthcare industry charges way more than $1 billion. Let me just check real quick. Healthcare industry. Let's see, the estimated net worth of the American healthcare industry is around $9.4 trillion as of 2022. So, yeah, like, you don't have to say rah charge billions, because they already do that, but like 1,000 times that.
best healthcare in the world. And you guys, as a combined household income of 90,000, when you're married, you would have access to that.
I just can't believe that because, especially
Can't
being
believe that 'cause of
being a
feelings.
woman in the United States.
Okay, well,
Wait, why is he being so combative? Like, his entire purpose here is to give them a financial plan that allows them to get the health care. Like, yeah, they have a combined household of $90,000. That's pretty okay. But, like, if they aren't able to figure out how to afford the healthcare off that, like, it's because they have a lot of, like, I'm going to presume rent, or maybe they've overextended themselves when it comes to credit. Like, there are a lot of reasons here. But also, this is just bizarre. It's genuinely like applying debate bro, like red pill debate bro content, but to financial planning. This is insane. From the ads I've seen, his whole shtick is belittling and shitting on his guests. Yeah, I mean, my guess is that this entire show is about making fun of poor people, or making fun of people who are victims of, like, financial, like, collapse.
you're talking abortion.
Present with I've actually had 2 abortions.
Okay.
I mean, guys, the situation.
Okay, but also let's just war game here for a second. If Brett Cooper, I presume Brett Cooper is pro-life, right? Brett Cooper, believes that abortion is murder, presumably. Now, if that's true, your perception of that woman is essentially that she has done 2 murders. And, like, I'm just throwing out there, like, why would that make you laugh? And the reason it makes her laugh is because none of these pro-life people actually equate abortion with murder. Not a single one of them, at least not in the media. You probably can find some wackos out there that do, but, like, to them, it's just a game. They don't actually give a shit because they know they can go to a different country or a different state and get an abortion just fine.
Situation is literally insane. So they go into this interview being like, we hate America. We actually need to flee America because it is so awful. The only thing that she can come up with to back up her reasoning for why they need to leave the country is because of the healthcare system. And
well, the healthcare system is expensive.
Even though she claims to be pro-life, she doesn't believe in anything. None of them do.
I mean, it's true. Like, well, no, that's not true, Sake Tanuki. I do think that at the heart of conservatism is a fundamentally anti-life belief,
Yet she has no insurance. She's not actively trying to fix any of the alleged problems that she believes.
Well, wait. Leaving the country would fix her lack of healthcare problem. Wait, actually moving to a different country with, public healthcare would actually solve her healthcare problem. You can't say, oh yeah, she's not doing anything. Well, I mean, if they're planning on moving, that would in fact solve the problem.
She can't get healthcare. Meanwhile, she's saying it's so hard to be a woman, which is code for you can't get an abortion and we need reproductive healthcare. And yet you just said you.
Well, it's not. Wait, saying it's so hard to be a woman is not code for I need so many abortions. There are a lot of ways that just saying it's hard to be a woman in America could actually go. And one would know that if they had any intellectual curiosity. Is Brett Cooper still funded by Ben Shapiro or some other aging conservative? I don't think... no, she's broken off from the Daily Wire. I think she went independent.
Got to abortions. I feel insane regurgitating that stuff to you.
Also, people have been pointing out in the chat that both her sleeves are different colors, and I can't unsee it now.
That is how we all should feel watching this video. Like, the rationality is truly insane. And like, so with that couple, the bigger picture here in his whole episode, which is like an hour and a half long usually, that couple's not married. They're $300,000 in debt. The girlfriend does not work. She mooches off of the man. They hate Trump's America so much. They blame Trump for all of their...
Okay, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. They're $300,000 in debt. Well, that might explain why they can't afford the health care they need in order to live. If they are $300,000 in debt, that would, in fact, explain why they can't afford a $300 expense every month, actually. Dear God.
Problems, even though they're not doing anything to fix their own individual problems, and so they want to flee, of course. Now, of course, they don't realize that if they went anywhere else, they would actually have less money.
Even still, when it comes to dollars left over, I mean, the math has been done. You take every subsidy, you get everything from the government-funded healthcare, whatnot, and this is in Germany alone. You take that, you compare it to the United States, after everything that's free over there that we have to pay in the private sector, because our incomes are so substantially higher, we still, at the end of the day, have more leftover money.
Okay, but that's on average. You're talking to people who are making $90,000 combined income. That's not like I'm sorry. On average, American incomes are so higher. That average takes into account like the incomes of like the 1% of America. Like, just throwing out there, if you're a working person in Germany, you have healthcare and a decent quality of life. Whereas making a comparable amount of money in the United States, you don't necessarily have those things. God.
And my favorite part of these videos is that whenever Caleb starts doing something like this, like he is, laying out something very logical that they could be doing, he's explaining why they are making this a problem when it actually...
Yeah, why aren't you taking advantage of all of these subsidies and programs that Republicans are trying to destroy? All of these opportunities that Republicans are trying to annihilate off the face of the earth, so you're trapped as a land working serf for the rest of your days. Why aren't you just doing that, huh? Patrick Lucas, thank you for the gifted membership.
Is not a problem, and they just sit there like, and the guy's like, that's really interesting. Like, this man has no intention to change his life. He does not want to change his opinion about America or the state of America or the fact that he...
Well, why should he change his opinion about the state of America? I want to remind Brett Cooper that this man came onto the show for financial advice, not to reconsider whether or not he likes America. Like, this is like, I don't know, this is like someone going on The Price is Right and then being asked to renounce their faith before they place their bid. Like, what? Wait, do you disavow the Great Schism that fueled the war between Protestants and Catholics for 1,000 years? Do you renounce it, sir? Like, what? Wait, what? Why? It's completely irrelevant going on The Price is Right. Da 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 da. Renounce your faith.
Thinks his life would be better elsewhere. He's just like, there is not a thought behind those eyes. They obviously just want to continue believing that their life is so awful because of Trump, which again seems to be a common thread. Just watch this one.
I am actually kind of in debt because of the past election.
Wait.
I've looked at potentially moving out of the country, and it's just never feasible.
What does that make sense for? In what way?
It's got to be better somewhere else. It has to be better anywhere else.
Anywhere else?
Anywhere else.
So you'll be moving to sub-Saharan Africa?
We're going to play a game
hell?
called Catechism.
Okay, so like this guy's go-to examples really kind of reveal his hand, you know? I do not want to watch any more Caleb Hammer. I despise him. Look, we're gonna finish this segment, but yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah, people can move out of the country if they want to. And, you know, if they're coming to you for financial planning, mind your business. Give them the financial plan to move. My God. Like, I don't know, move to New Zealand. Move to Ireland. They just elected a socialist. Seems pretty cool. This is not a financial advice show. Yeah, of course not. It's conservative propaganda LARPing as a financial advice show.
Hey, what do you say fuck me for?
No, probably not. It's
You
too hot.
said anywhere.
Almost anywhere.
All right, now an important thing to note with this woman is that this is how they start off the episode. This is how she introduces herself, that, you know, Trump is the problem, she is in debt because of him. And then you slowly start to see, as Caleb peels back the onion, that actually everything is her fault. And she doesn't actually need...
Well, wait, yeah, that's because people don't go to a financial planner in a crisis situation because of their great financial decisions in the past. People go to a financial planner to fix the financial problems they have. Like, yeah, of course her poor and previous financial decisions are her own. Yeah.
To leave the country. She actually can't leave the country because of the mountains of debt that she is under. Like, it all is just a big game that they are talking. Like, all of this, these last two people that we've looked at, they're all just talking a big game. They are projecting. Like, please, God, let's just like take...
Are they talking a big game, or are they just stating like their basic opinions on something? Like, yeah, I hate the American healthcare system is not actually talking a big game. That's just a pretty general and benign point of view to have on a system that kills people.
We got the Smith family and the Ford family. Top 5 answers on the board. We asked 100 people, do you condemn Hamas?
Thank you for the $5 dono, Paladin.
Take it down a notch, pretend like you are a suppressor from Silencer Shop. Because shooting is great, but shooting suppressed...
Wait, what? What? She seriously transitioned into selling fucking silencers. Fucking gun silencers. Are you kidding? Oh my God. She went from talking a big game to shooting big game. I can't. Best in the conservative biz right here. Fucking hell. Are we being punked? No, this is just the state of conservative discourse. Why do you need that? You know, in case you need to do a fun time against pheasants.
That's better, way better. And Silencer Shop makes it ridiculously easy to get a suppressor, which is that one upgrade that instantly makes your guns perform quieter with more accuracy and less recoil, just making the entire experience way more enjoyable. Now, yes, before you ask, suppressor...
It makes it quieter, more accurate, and altogether more enjoyable. Anyway, Agent 47, here's your loadout. My God. I genuinely can't believe this.
Suppressors are 100% legal in most states, and Silencer Shop has simplified...
Yeah, you don't want any deer to hear your previous shot.
The entire process. You just pick your suppressor, make your account, sign a couple forms, and they handle all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, in case you need to defend your house in silence. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but castle doctrine only holds as long as you keep it below a certain number of decibels.
You could get your suppressor in just a few days. Alex and I got one of our own. It was such an amazing process, and we have loved shooting it on our property. It makes it so much easier and more fun. Now, Silencer Shop has already helped hundreds of thousands of shooters do it, and they are also not just behind the counter. Silencer Shop is out there defending your Second Amendment rights every single day. So if you are
silently
ready to make your shooting experience smarter, safer, and seriously more fun, head on over to silencershop.com/Cooper to get started. Again, silencershop.com/Cooper, because shooting suppressed makes...
Man, sometimes, you know, like, I will go and I'll watch a dystopian movie from the 1980s, like RoboCop, and, like, I'll look at the ads and go, haha, what silly billies they were back in the 1980s. Look at their dystopia with its cybernetic police officers and its silly ads. And then then all of it just became real. All of Paul Verhoeven's films just became real, actual reality that we experience every day. Yeah, I'd buy that for $1 guy. I guarantee you, if you had that run as an advertisement on Fox News today, people would buy that for $1. And it would make $1 billion, and then they'd shove AI into it somehow and make it worse. Like that like our reality is seeing the dystopia put forth to us in the past and saying, hold my beer. Yeah, the suppressor good, Brett Cooper bad. Yeah.
Makes you better. Now, guys, if you're like me, you need a snack while you're out on the range shooting, which is why you need to keep Paleo Valley meat sticks with you at all.
Hey, bro, you got your Paleo Valley meat stick? Yeah, bro, I love holding my Paleo Valley meat stick in my strong vascular arms. Don't you, bro? Yeah, bro. What if we just held our Paleo Valley meat sticks together in our brawny, grug-like strength? It's just like, fuck, man.
Times just like me. And guys, these are not the meat sticks that you grew up with. Paleo Valley makes...
Yeah, not the meat sticks you grew up with. We got all kinds of meat sticks now in 2025. Is that a meat stick you'd want to eat? What if you wanted to gobble it down? Would you gobble down a whole Paleo Valley meat stick? Or would you take your time, delicately making your way down the meat stick?
Theirs with 100% grass-fed beef from small regenerative American...
This isn't your dad's meat stick.
farm so that you can feel good about what you're eating and what you're supporting. They've stripped out all of the junk, no preservatives, no gluten, no soy, no...
Wait a minute, they stripped out all the junk from their meat stick? Wait a minute. We might not be talking about the same thing. Here in this house, you need to keep some of that junk on. We only eat non-circumcised meat sticks in this house.
No sugar, no dairy, no GMOs, just clean, nutrient-dense fuel that is made the way food was meant to be made. And whether you are road tripping, working late, or just running around like a crazy person like I do on a daily basis, these beef sticks give you the high-protein energy without the crash that you need.
Also, what is this meat stick energy crash that you're talking about? Like what? I don't think I've ever eaten a Slim Jim and just like run around and been like, I can lift a car, and then like 10 minutes later needed a nap. Like what are we talking about here? I just...
If it's been a schlong time since you've wrapped your lips around a meat stick.
Jack, don't be coy. You know the meat stick energy crash she's speaking of. Look, I might not be familiar with the energy crash of a good meat stick, but you know, whomst among us hasn't gotten addicted to a good beef stick? Or sorry, meat stick. It's not necessarily beef. It's just a meat stick of various kinds of meat. Or perhaps one kind of meat. I look so tired. My makeup is so ruined from like laughing at this shit.
Paleo, carnivore, whatever your vibe is, Paleo Valley fits right in. They also come in 5 bold flavors: original, jalapeno, summer sausage, garlic summer sausage, and teriyaki, so there is truly something for everyone. I literally keep these in my purse on a daily basis. They are that good. With over 55 million sold in a 60-day money-back guarantee, Paleo Valley is the real deal. Get 15% off your first order.
My meat stick goes limp after one snack. Well, get yourself some additional meat sticks, my friend.
At Paleo Valley.
You don't need to limit yourself to just one meat stick. You can just fit a whole bunch of meat sticks in your mouth if you're really on the go.
.com/Brett with code Brett. Now, back to the story at hand. Again, this woman, she actually does blame MAGA. She blames Trump, the last election, for her debt for the financial crisis that she is in, rather than...
Well, wait, I want to know how she got into her financial crisis. Did she, like, bet everything on the Polymarket studio in LA? Is that what happened? Did she, you know, did she bet it all and lose? I just want to know. Also, where is the Polymarket Studio button? I should have it. There it is.
Live from the Polymarket Studio in LA.
The bit didn't work, but I'm still gonna do the sound clip.
Claiming the fact that she sunk $70,000 into a failing business venture that she didn't even try to make successful, and the fact that she does not want to work more than
She invested her life savings in meat sticks.
20 hours a week. And when Caleb had the gall to suggest that she, makes a career.
Wait, but what was the business venture? Maybe the business venture had something to do with the election.
Career shift, takes on extra hours, do something else, get a full-time job. This was her response.
Go get a job. Work 40 hours a week, 9 to 5.
I don't want to.
Yeah, how could anyone respond to that delivery and voice with anything other than deferential respect?
There it is. Government, Kansas, Missouri, take away her food stamps right now. Did you just hear that? Take them away. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, important note that's revealed to you guys in this clip. This woman is on government subsidies. She is under this mountain of debt. She is taking resources from the government that she hates. She's saying Trump is so bad, America is so awful, I need to flee. And yet they are helping fund her life.
Now, I don't know if Brett Cooper knows this, but I'm just going to lay it out there real quick. But part of the reason we have government subsidies, right, for folks in dire financial situations is because we don't want them just dying. That's actually not what we want. And in fact, we want people to live and be able to get back up on their feet and try again and do everything else that they can to contribute to their community and their state and their country, etc. And there's not actually a loyalty test involved in whether or not you get to keep those subsidies. Because really want to emphasize this here. The idea that we should do loyalty tests and only help people who are loyal to the state is some genuinely fascistic garbage. In America, one of your most sacred rights is to be able to criticize America and criticize American policy. And the idea that you shouldn't be able to do that while on government assistance is just, well, frankly, I don't know how to say this. Bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit from people who don't want the system to be criticized because they don't want the system to be better because they are fundamentally backed by folks who want to benefit from the immiseration of the working class and the poor for the benefit of the 1% of Americans. That's it. That is what is happening here. If you can't criticize something you love without hating it, then do you really love it? Exactly, Dragonfly. And also, if someone wants to leave the country, they should be able to, even if they are on subsidies. All right. Brett Cooper's problem with this woman is ostensibly she's anti-American because she wants to leave America. And then is you want to leave America? How dare you take subsidies in order to try and leave America? It's I don't know, maybe make it easier for people to leave the country. I'm just spitballing. Make it easier for people to leave, make it easier for people to come in if they want to, because we should be about freedom. Yeah, freedom of movement is actually a pretty fundamental freedom, actually.
I don't want to.
Then that is not fair. That is not a choice. Subsidies should be there, and even more for those who cannot. You can, and you're choosing not to because you do not want to. And I knew the more and more I pushed on it, we would find out that you're doing this because you want to.
I mean, he literally, guys, in every single one of these episodes, he does not pull a single punch, and that is why he is incredible. Now, guys, I'm looking at this, I'm watching these videos, and I'm thinking to myself, well, suddenly, the government shutdown doesn't seem so bad. Maybe some of these...
You're talking about 41 million people not being able to feed themselves. 23 million of whom are children. Suddenly the government shutdown doesn't seem so bad. Maybe those 23 million deserved to not eat Maybe those 23 million children deserve to go without food. Maybe those 23 million children are actually suckling on the teat of big government. Did you ever think about that? Like, this is, Matt Rock, you are saying it very well here. This is fascist porn. This is fascist pornography. Because when these folks are, like, trying to do this propaganda, they focus on folks that they're like, you see, they hate this country. They don't deserve food stamps. And therefore, none of them deserve food stamps. I'm sorry, even if you dislike that woman and think that she made poor life choices, that doesn't excuse, like, celebrating the loss of the ability to feed 23 million children. And, like, good God. I don't know how big of a monster you have to be to cheer on tens of millions of people, predominantly children, being cut off from food. Like, oh man, maybe those children should have financially planned better. Oh, well, their parents made bad economic choices, so the kids deserve to starve. Like, what are you talking about? We have a choice as to whether or not these kids starve or not. We have a choice whether or not these people starve or not. We don't, in fact, have to just inflict wanton cruelty onto people in order to try and force them to make the financial decisions we agree with. But conservatives believe in torture. They believe in torturing poor people and the most vulnerable among us, poor children in particular. And this is the kind of media environment I want you all to understand that conservative voters isolate themselves within so often. It's why we are seeing more and more of these conservative folks going full fascist. It's because this is all they see. This is all they see.
But remember, being okay with Charlie Kirk no longer being alive is the most evil thing possible.
Also, they've all weirdly stopped talking about Charlie Kirk. Like, the second they couldn't use Charlie Kirk as a punching bag for trans people, the Charlie Kirk case, they stopped talking about it so that they could focus on starving children, I guess.
People will go out and get jobs if things stop being paid for by the government. We are still not done, because later in this interview with the same woman, after she says that she doesn't want to work, that it's too hard to work, that she has health problems that make it so that she can't take on longer shifts as a hairstylist, she can't take on more shifts as a bartender, she actually reveals to Caleb that she is a competitive cheerleader and that she pays for it, and that is one of the many things that he will see when he goes through her finances.
So would it be a bad time to tell you that I'm also a competitive cheerleader?
Wait, like, why is that? Okay, and?
Be a weird time.
I mean, like, guys, this is so amazing. Like, this is better than most things on TV right now. Like, his blank stare of like, what the hell are you saying? Like, you, an adult woman, he like looks her up and down. He's like, you are a competitive cheerleader? Like, you genuinely.
But like, you know that there are professional cheerleaders. You see them at sports games. Brett Cooper, you even talked about the fact that you were just so angry about a male cheerleader. Oh, sorry, not a male cheerleader. Like a non-binary cheerleader, actually, or it might have been that there was a non-binary cheerleader and there was like just a really flamboyant man cheerleader. I think it was actually both. And like Brett Cooper did an entire thing about how the NFL is gay now because they have like guys and NBs as cheerleaders and it's a whole big deal. And like, Now you're confused at like a woman saying that she's a professional cheerleader or a competitive cheerleader? Okay. Is the joke that she is like the reason it's funny because like she doesn't look like she'd be a competitive cheerleader? Like, and in that circumstance, I don't know who looks like they would be a competitive cheerleader, but she clearly has like the body to be one. Like, God.
genuinely cannot make this stuff up. It's insane. She's sitting here talking about the fact that she has no money. She can't do anything. She can't take on more work. And then she's like, actually, I do adult competitive cheerleading. And the comments under that episode were just chef's kiss. Like this person said, I'm disabled and I can't do long shifts, does competitive cheerleading and lifts at least 100-pound cheerleaders. Yeah, she's not one of the...
Well, yeah, but also she does 2 other jobs. If you combine 2 jobs and the competitive cheerleading, that's a lot. And I guess if the advice is just drop your passion and just do more work, like, some people aren't going to want to make that sacrifice. You know, some people don't want to sacrifice what makes them, you know, happy and able to mentally function in favor of just making more money and primitive accumulation. It's stupid.
The flyers.
And also very true, Bastion. Not all disabilities are physical. Yeah.
At all. No, she's the one lifting people, but she can't bartend. It's too hard. That's why she needs us, the taxpayers, to fund her life. Somebody else said, I hate when Trump forces single moms to be competitive cheerleaders so they can't afford to pay their bills. Somebody else said, how do people not become conservative/Republican after watching all of these videos? Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this episode, because they are. And that...
You know, I'm just going to point out here, this is the same logic behind that undergirds like white supremacist news outlets. And I've pointed this out a number of times before, but like the general idea behind a white supremacist news outlet is that they don't report false news explicitly. They usually base it on actual real world events. However, what they do is they are selective in their reporting. So, for example, a white supremacist news outlet would focus on crimes done by Black people. And in order to fearmonger about Black people, like that is the entire premise of like one of those white nationalist news outlets. They lie. They lie and they twist it in aggregate. So each individual story might be accurate, but if you're reading the news and only the stories about Black people committing crimes are being put in front of you, then your perception gets warped into thinking that, oh, all criminals are Black people, right? In a similar case, oh man, how can people not turn conservative from watching these videos? It's because like a bunch of people are being highlighted selectively in order to make a political point. And I'm not going to lie, this is probably a pretty effective and I would say effective way of converting people to conservatism or conservative ideas, largely because I don't see a lot of comparable shows breaking down finances from a leftist perspective. I think there's probably room for something like that. I'm not qualified to do it, but like, I mean, Bizu, you're correct. This is why conservatives think Portland is burning to the ground, and it's because they all live in this media bubble where like Portland is forever burning to the ground because it's the only news story they see about Portland. And like, yes, it is possible that this guy's also using paid actors. You know, it very possible. Just assuming though that he's not and that these are real people, it still serves the purpose of a larger media strategy to align with conservative ideas.
Is why people on social media are so mad. All of these clips have been circulating and going viral all summer. Caleb is getting more popular by the day because he is exposing something deeper than just bad, idiotic personal choices. He is exposing the system that enables and supports them. This person on X said,
Well, he's not actually supporting the system that enables and supports anybody, actually, because he's not talking about the systems per se. He's talking about how these people should exploit those systems, and the fact that they are not or unable to is a sign that they are unfit to like exist in society. Hence why he's trying to get these people like kicked off of the programs they're using. Disgusting.
Like Caleb, because Caleb allows you to see into how tens of millions of Americans live. If you look past all the theatrics, you get an unfiltered look at how the system works and how utterly disgusting it is. Invaluable.
You know, I'm just curious here. I'm just real curious. What was that? This is from an account titled Woman Definer.
At least they're not paying Vince. Trust me, you're not gonna love his nuts.
Let's see here. Just out of curiosity. Oh, okay. When a little girl at school tells my son, at least my dad isn't black. That little girl is wise beyond her years, and this account reposted it. That's interesting. It's crazy. White women get stuck with the Karen stereotype. This woman called racism over Halloween decorations. This one might be racially motivated. Lol. Literally like a lynched black person. I think I've seen enough, actually. So, you know, maybe telling who Brett Cooper is using for her political dunks and political high fives on her side. And I do want to preface this by saying I did not pre-watch this at all. I had no idea what we were walking into when I started playing this video, other than the basic premise of what the video was going to be about. And it never fails that in every single one of these conservative propaganda videos, you Google like the person they show on screen to buttress their conservative points. And it's like, oh, this guy is literally like 2 degrees removed from Hitler. This guy is like, you know, the only reason he's not at the Klan rally is because his sheets are at the dry cleaner. You know, like dude, like that's genuinely every single time you look into these folks. Who could have predicted?
Filtered look at how the system works and how utterly disgusting it is invaluable. Exactly. Like that is the real thing that comes through in all of these videos. And of course, some of them are crazier than others, but there usually is a common thread that they are not taking personal responsibility and they are leaning on American taxpayers.
You know, that's so true. Republicans also should figure out personal responsibility when it comes to, you know, keeping the government open and not stealing everyone's healthcare so that they can give, you know, $1 trillion to the wealthiest people to ever exist. You know, I would say that, you know, there might need to be some personal responsibility learned about the fact that you shouldn't do that.
Take all of those clips that we just watched, all the episodes that he has done. Possibly the craziest one just happened a couple of days ago because Caleb had 2 illegal immigrants onto his show. 2 illegals with over $420,000 worth of debt who do not pay taxes. Now, their big spends recently, because I'm sure you're interested. Number 1, a 4Runner and $4,500 Shakira tickets. And oh, by the way, the man doesn't like their house because it doesn't have a pool.
I just don't like the house.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards this. This is fake as hell. Because I'm just in the current climate, in the current political climate. You tell this man you're an undocumented immigrant and go on his YouTube show when people are being disappeared off the streets? Nah, dog, I'm calling this fake as hell. I'm calling this fake as hell. All right? Oh, God. All right. Shit.
Oh, good. 260,631.08. Why don't you like the house?
Because it doesn't have a pool.
Go to a community pool, dick.
No,
a
it's
home
dirty.
equity loan?
That's his response. His response is, it's dirty. I don't want to. I want to drive my 4Runner. I don't want to drive a beater. I don't like my house with my huge mortgage because it doesn't have a pool. Sir, most people in America go to community pools. I also go to a community pool. I love my house. It doesn't have a pool. Would I like a pool? Sure.
Wait, a lot of people don't have access to a community pool. Wait a minute. Growing up, I didn't have access to a community pool. Not every community has that, Dick.
I think most Americans would like a pool. Most Americans don't have one, so we all go to community pools. Later in this video, Caleb actually stormed off, and I think this might be the first time that he ever stormed off set, but he stormed off because the couple in the video, to his face, refused to agree to make any meaningful changes to their lifestyle. Again, they have come on his show to try to get help, to go through their finances, to see what they could do to get out from under this mountain of debt.
I still want to circle back to the You claim that they're undocumented immigrants, and I want to know how do you know that?
And they want to do nothing because they don't want to make the sacrifices that are necessary. When Caleb told them that they needed to sell the extremely expensive 4Runner and get a beater, the man responded with no, not just no. He said, no, actually, I deserve a Tacoma. He wants an even nicer, newer car. Sir, actually, as human beings, we do not deserve anything other life and liberty. We just work for it like you.
Okay, wait, that asterisk though. Wait, the asterisk.
We do not deserve anything other life and liberty. We just...
She couldn't even successfully mumble out other than life and liberty. You know, I'm just also going to throw out there, like, hey, maybe there are some prerequisites to life. You know, maybe like some of the prerequisites, like, I don't know, healthcare and food and housing. You know, the things, those subsidies you were railing about a few minutes ago that are meant to like ensure people get. Yeah, okay, cool.
Just work for it like you should be doing. You should be making sacrifices to support your family, to get out from under the debt if that is actually a priority in your life. But clearly it's not. And so that's why Caleb stormed off. And what was even more offensive about this video in particular was the entitlement as non-Americans. The fact that they were even able to get approved for all of this debt when so many Americans literally can't. When they can't even take on any debt because they won't get approved. When veterans are struggling to get assistance. When young people can't buy homes. When many would literally kill.
Well, they would be able to get approved for that level of debt if they have good credit. And I guess Brett Cooper in a roundabout way is getting to the point that our credit system is bullshit. Which, yeah, I agree.
To be able to own a townhome without a pool, when that is just the dream. But for them, for this couple, it just isn't good enough. But what's even worse is that if this couple were to be deported...
Okay, but wait, people are allowed to dislike the house they bought. Like, I don't know, this... You're upset that they don't like their house? A lot of people don't like their house. What are you talking about? Why are you mad at them for that? But even worse is that if this couple were to be deported,
they probably wouldn't ever have to pay off any of this debt because it is almost impossible to enforce once you are out of the country. Like the creditors would probably just take the home, take the assets, cut their losses. Meanwhile, this couple basically gets off scot-free. They go home wherever they came from. They don't have to deal with the mess that they made by racking up the debt here in this country. Somebody on X.
I love the idea that in Brett Cooper's mind, being deported is like a miraculous event for an undocumented immigrant who's deep in debt. When it's like you could declare bankruptcy, though. There are other options available other than deportation, and also if you're being deported to another place and you've built a life here, you don't have that life anymore. Like, it doesn't go with you. Oh, God. Has this woman ever been poor? Not to my knowledge. I didn't realize that I didn't realize going into this that it would accrue this much mental pain points as it has.
Commented and said, they rake in cash from jobs that Americans built, skip taxes, and then cry about deserving new trucks.
Well, wait a minute. No. They rake in cash from jobs Americans built? My sister in Christ, they're doing the jobs. They're doing the jobs that Americans won't. What exactly does Brett Cooper do? She does this, and she does acting in shitty Daily Wire movies.
This is how entitlement rots nations when borders become suggestion signs instead of barriers. Another person said, this is what open border madness brings. Entitlement without effort, debt without discipline, and lawbreakers mocking...
I'm just random spot check. I'm going to Google this account as well. Rhombus Report Twitter. Let's see.
Brett Cooper is the Azula to pre-Earth Kingdom Zuko Ben Shapiro.
There's something really just brilliant about your mind, Sake Tanuki, because you constantly like T-bone my brain with unexpected references, and they delight me. Don't stop. But also, let's just take a quick look here. Rhombus Report, standing for faith, family, and freedom, upholding America First values, defending liberty, and fighting for our nation's future. A friend of Israel. Let's take a look. All right. A video of massacres, a video of killing fishermen. Let's just that. Let's see. Experience the Psalms like never before. 14 soulful country gospel songs from Psalms Collection Part 2, filled with faith, hope, and renewal. Let every note lift your spirit. Mossad commentary channel, great. Okay, more just slaughtering videos. All right. Okay. Again, videos of just slaughter. Most of the videos on this channel are of either by my 14 songs or just reposting propaganda from Mossad. So that's cool. I'm just scrolling through here. A lot of stuff from Charlie Kirk here. Okay. Like, I mean, this is, again, pretty standard, bog standard, like, far-right MAGA puppet account. Like, the only things that I can really consistently see from this account are the idea that folks should buy their 14 Psalm song album.
Our system. Every hardworking American should be furious at this utter disrespect. And that right there, I think, is why this video went so viral. Anyway, like I said, these clips have all been making the rounds on social media, especially over the last few months. And because of what Caleb is exposing time and time again, people online have turned up the heat, and they're saying that because he's exposing this, he is now part of the alt-right pipeline.
His whole entire platform is based on finding people that are struggling financially and blaming them for their problems, which in individual cases seems harmless, but consistently showing stories of poor people that are struggling because they refuse to get out of bed does nothing but promote this fallacy that the reason there is poverty in America is because of individual choices.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's just so funny to me when you're saying, he's yelling at poor people because they're not getting out of bed and working. All right. I just watched an episode of his where the family went into $70,000 worth of debt to travel and go to Disneyland. That is.
Yeah, but the issue is he's highlighting exceptions, right? Like, you can point out a bunch of individual cases where people made bad financial choices. Sure. The issue is that when we're talking about poverty is a sociological phenomena that affects many different people, not just one person, right? So you need to take into account how it actually operates at scale on a societal level within a large enough group for us to understand what actually foments poverty and like how we can actually fix that. And it's not difficult to really figure out that individual stories of like financial missteps might not in fact give you the full picture of a sociological or society-wide problem. Like, some people are poor not because they made poor financial decisions, but because sometimes life happens. Sometimes you get cancer unexpectedly and it drains your life savings. Sometimes, like, you lose your job and because of the financial market, you can't find another one. Like, sometimes it turns out no matter how much hustle culture you engage in, like, it's not going to be enough to get you out of the hole you're in. Rent keeps going up, wages stay stagnant, it gets harder and harder to make yourself, get through the day. And so, like, this idea that, oh, well, no, you see, we can understand poor individual choices, but not society-wide problems, it's taking advantage of a very easy human, a very easy way in which human minds work, okay? which is that it's easy for us to look at one example of a thing and to understand that example. But it's much harder to think in broader terms about a much larger problem. That's very difficult for us to do. She isn't propped up by billionaire money. No, but I would say that she's probably propped up by very sussy money, insofar as, you know, I think she's followed by a lot of old conservatives. And I think you understand where I'm going with that. Big Bad Ardwolf, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub.
That is an individual choice. I'm sorry, that they deserved to be yelled at. He's not yelling at poor people who cannot get a job, who are severely...
Yeah, but he is making arguments that are antithetical to the well-being of other people in similar financial situations. And that might be in similar financial situations not because of a ill-planned trip to Disney World, but rather because, I don't know, their mom got like cancer, or like their dad finally like got, you know, asbestos.
Some people get a small loan of 200 million and still manage to run a casino into the ground and try to sell steaks at the Sharper Image, an electronics store.
It's true. It's true. Some people make it big the old-fashioned way. And I just have to say, like, if you're yelling about how it's so easy to get healthcare, you just go to healthcare.gov and they give it to you. And like, you're sending a message to your audience. And the people who are struggling with poverty in the audience, they know that it's not as easy as going to healthcare.gov and getting your free government insurance. That's not happening. They know that, in fact, well, actually, it's a lot harder and more expensive than that. And so, one of the things that I really struggle with here is, and I know that on her part, it's deliberate, right? But there are a lot of conservatives who are, you know, they don't really get what she's doing. And that is by trying to say, oh, well, you know, these people made a bad individual decision and therefore all poverty is due to bad individual decision. Rather than understanding that there are systemic issues at play. The way a system operates affects how individuals make choices.
I pay over $1,000 a month for my plan in NYC, and it still took me about a week to get actual coverage.
It's insane, Sake Tanuki. Genuinely insane. And like, that's not even talking about like, so some people pay astronomical amounts of in insurance to healthcare companies because they are trying to cover like several members of their family. You know, like it can get truly astronomical and unattainable for a lot of people.
Disabled who have fallen on hard times. He is yelling at people, rightfully so. He is confronting them for making terrible choices time and time again. Like, I'm sorry, but when you say you can't work because you have to go to competitive adult cheerleading classes and that you deserve a Tacoma, I think that those are pretty clear individual choices that are being made. But you know what, dude on TikTok, whatever you're...
Yeah, but the issue is, okay, so either you have to go two ways with this content. Right? Either there are basically two ways you can interpret this financial advice bros channel. Either you can say, oh, it's just making fun of people who do stupid financial decisions. There's no political messaging behind it. Haha. And it's all just mindless fun of watching a financial guy yell at people in bad financial straits. Or it is recognizing that there is a pattern to his criticism, a pattern to who is brought on his show, a pattern to the points he makes, and understanding that there is a general thrust to the politics of his program, and that in turn affects who is going to enjoy the show and what the content means to them.
In 2016, I moved from Boulder to Pitkin County, Colorado. My same silver plan went from $247 a month to $727 a month.
Oh my god.
5 providers to 1.
Oh my god. Sake Tanuki. That makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Like that's such a scary jump in healthcare per month costs. It makes my stomach turn into knots. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Like, make up your mind. Does the content mean nothing, or does it mean that conservatives are better at financial planning? You gotta pick a lane. It can't be both. At least in Brett Cooper's in Brett Cooper, what Brett Cooper is putting forward is that, oh, no, it's just silly fun. Haha.
Name is, I'm going to take the bait. I guess you're right. I guess he is ignoring the systemic issues. He is ignoring the system that is enabled by our government that robs taxpayers to fund lifestyles just like these and allows people to get comfortable.
Well, wait, it doesn't rob taxpayers. Taxpayers are to pay for the public good, and it is still the public good to have these people not dying on the street.
A current gold plan is around $1,000 a month there.
Jesus, Sake. Mine about to go from $75 to $800. Jesus. But like, genuinely, like it's just
in this site robs taxpayers to.
We're not robbing taxpayers. Like, you live in a country. You need to help pay for the collective expenses for like the amenities we are all able to enjoy here, like roads and fire departments. Let's not forget that one of the richest people to ever exist literally ran the Roman fire department as a private company.
Fund lifestyles just like these and allows people to get comfortable in this cycle of debt and poverty. It gives them no incentive to climb their way out or fight for a better life because they are being.
Wait a minute. What do you mean it gives them no incentive to climb their way out? They're literally going to a financial advice planner so that they can do that. Like, if someone's going to get a financial plan to get them out of debt, that's literally them doing the thing you're saying they're not doing. My head hurts so bad right now.
Funded on the backs of our hard work and the money that we.
Well, again, we fund these programs so that you don't have corpses lining the gutters, because that's what used to happen to the poor. We had to have communal corpse collectors patrolling the streets to grab any dead bodies that happened to be outside. Do you not want modern day corpse collectors? Then maybe you should support providing subsistence to your fellow countrymen. It's not complicated. Like, if you open up a history textbook, you'll see where we used to be when folks didn't have healthcare, and it wasn't pretty. That was a thing, yes.
Bring in. And because Caleb in every single episode is encouraging personal responsibility and solutions and taking accountability, I guess he is a bigot. Thanks for educating me. Now, another person on X said, as somebody just posted in a Reddit review, Caleb Hammer is the
more respect for her and any of the other ghouls if they just said, why can't they just fight to the death in a coliseum for out amusement?
Genuinely, and I do mean this sincerely, the modern conservative media ecosystem is intensely Nazi-filled, or Nazi-pilled, perhaps. Because, like, she's quoting people who are outright white supremacists and bigots publicly on the various platforms she's combing through here. And not only that, but genuinely, we're maybe, like, a couple months away from, like, the president going out and publicly endorsing bum fights as content. You know, like, they're throwing a UFC cage match on the White House lawn, and, like, you know, Sake Tanuki, you joke, but, like, I can see them all falling in line to advertise, essentially make the impoverished fist fight each other. You know, like some kind of elaborate Squid Game ass nonsense. Like this is like, it's disgusting the way they think about and treat the unhoused and the poor. Like it is like I have difficulty finding the words necessary to talk about them in a civil manner.
Dr. Phil of Finance, all blustery right-wing sensationalism and disdain for his guests. Right-wing sensationalism. God, the comments under this one were amazing. This guy said, spend less than you make, just like Hitler would suggest. Another person said, telling people to pay off debt and spend within your means is right-wing sensationalism. Everything makes sense now. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is genuinely the world that we live in. This is how these people think. They want to blame the government for everything. They want to blame Trump for everything, and yet they live off the government. Anything that they do not like is right-wing sensationalism, is the right-wing pipeline, whatever you want to call it. That's just it. Now, while all of these clips are insane and they are funny, and Caleb does put on a good show, and I think that he encourages, better spending, better lifestyles, financial literacy, I think that all of this is even more important to consider and think about during the current government shutdown that we're going through right now. Because Democrats are freaking out that Republicans won't raise the debt ceiling even more. And I'm looking at this.
What? That's not what the Democrats aren't doing the government shutdown because Republicans might not raise the debt ceiling. Wait a minute.
Like, these are the types of people that our debt is helping fund, that our tax dollars are enabling. Like, I'm sorry, but we need to clear house on the entire system and just rebuild. And unfortunately, to be honest, like, the Republicans are often no better when it comes to subsidies and spending our money, the government's money. But at least these days, they have more common sense about how these programs actually work in reality and the behaviors that it enables. And this is what Caleb is teaching his audience. But hey, you know what? I guess that's just being an alt-right bigot.
There was a whole lot of stupid in there. What the hell alternate reality is she trying to sell here? Genuinely, it's all nonsense. Genuinely, she's trying to spin this so far away. The government shutdown, for those of you who don't know, the government shutdown is right now over several things. Number one, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, as well as every single Republican in the House, want to cover up for Jeffrey Epstein and wealthy pedophiles, right? Number two, they want to steal your healthcare. They're cutting $1 trillion from our healthcare system, mostly from Medicaid, which goes towards the most impoverished people and most in need in the country. And also, they want to then, of course, eliminate your ability to feed your kids if you're poor. They're cutting SNAP benefits in every single state. And some states are providing emergency funds, but right now the federal government has $8 billion ready and waiting to fully fund those SNAP programs. And they're not using it because they want to hurt the American public to try and force Democrats to end the shutdown and allow them to just cut your health care. So they're trying to cut a number of different things right now, while also retaining funding for, say, the masked army disappearing your neighbors and friends, and the ability for the U.S. military to continue bombing innocent civilians in the Caribbean. What they are doing right now is monstrous. And she just lied about it. Because again, conservatives live in a completely different reality, where it's totally fine for an America First government to spend $40 billion propping up an insane libertarian in Argentina, but God forbid any money be spent to make sure kids aren't starving here in America. And instead of actually understanding and talking about what is happening, Brett Cooper ran a segment about how everyone who is poor and on public assistance programs are in fact scamming the system. And she would say, of course, I'm not saying everyone does that, but the general thrust of this video is in fact that you believe most people do. It's why you opened up the video talking about how this exposes the rampant fraud and abuse of our, public assistance programs. And that's not what this showed. It showed examples of people who are not very grateful or who don't want to do certain things with their lives, trying to get financial advice to help themselves out of sticky financial situations. And you are taking that as indicative of wide-scale abuse and fraud when you haven't demonstrated that at all, actually. It's gross, and it's disgusting, and it does the work of this fascist administration. And when we talk about Brett Cooper, understand, the reason I make fun of her, the reason I think it's good to cover these videos and these ideas she puts out there is because she's one of the few growing conservatives right now out there. And she is finding a larger and larger audience as folks, leave traditional conservative propaganda networks. They're looking for a younger audience. And Brett Cooper is the one drawing that younger audience. Brett Cooper, in the span of 13 hours with this video, has accrued almost 250,000 views on it. and she has 1.6 million subscribers. Like, yeah, she is growing. Her growth, to be fair, has slowed of late, but weirdly, I don't think she gets enough criticism for being this alt-right figure. And I think that over time, she has aligned herself more and more with that segment of the population while not paying direct lip service to it. But you can tell from like the posts she put up on screen, outright being white supremacist accounts. Like, it's not difficult to figure out. So, all that being said, I think what we learned here is that conservatives don't really understand what it means to be financially literate or to be good at finances or anything of the sort. Like, this didn't demonstrate any of that. And so it is bizarre, to say the least, and honestly just very, very draining to engage with these ideas, because it's just mostly bullshit lunacy. And with that, I think we're gonna move on. I've said my piece.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat.